Welcome to another beautiful remodeling that Royal Kitchens and Baths is very proud of. This particular style home in the area of the New York region that we live in is called a side hall colonial. And originally, right about where I'm standing here, there was a wall here and there was an L-shaped kitchen and a regular double light patio door. So there were a lot of things on the client's wish list in order to open up the kitchen, make it look a lot larger, bring a lot more light in, and make it much more usable for the family for eating, entertaining, etc. So one of the things we'll take a first note of, you'll see some before pictures. If you take a look at this wall here, you can see that there's a 4-light patio door with the active doors in the middle. So this opened up the whole view of the backyard and brings in a lot of natural light. The other thing that it was able to do is make the dinette area much larger so that the family could enjoy more of a comfortable environment compared to the first kitchen, which again, you could see how it was in the before pictures. So here we see our 4-foot built-in refrigerator. You'll notice that the refrigerator is flush with the framework. This is a transitional theme with a very simple shaker door, which was a round over inset. So unlike other kitchens that have a bead, just to make this have a little bit more of a transitional feel, you can see that it's a round over inset with the door, so there's no bead here. So we wanted to get everything to look like the flush inset design. So you'll notice the 2 flanking pantries, and at Royal, what we like to do to make them look different is we like to do what we call a reverse pantry, and you can see the 3 drawers for storage on the bottom. Also, when you open up the door, you'll see on this particular one, there's 2 rollouts, which are comfortable because they're safe and they're at waist level. We really don't want the rollouts to go up too high because then we have to worry about safety for pulling it out and we're reaching up high to get things that may be a little bit awkward to get. This particular one over here, you'll notice this one does not have the bottom shelf, but you'll notice a plug in the back. And it basically sets up a charging station for cell phones, tablets, and things like that. Okay, you'll notice if we point down to the floor, the beautiful wood floors in a walnut color. So this used to be tile, and we added the flooring to match the rest of the living room and dining area, and we stained it with a beautiful walnut color. You'll also notice here, again, we have a kick space heater because there was hot water radiators that we had to put in the kick space, the toe kick of the cabinets. Another thing that's interesting is this particular white color is an off-white, and this was a custom match. This is not necessarily one of the standard colors for the palette of this cabinet company, but the client wanted something a little bit softer, so this particular color for the cabinets and the island were custom. You'll notice where I'm standing in the original home, this area here was all framed in and there were framed closets. This particular spot here has a lot of the utilities running through the home from the upstairs to the downstairs. The boiler flue is in this box. The refrigerant lines for the air conditioning and many other components for the plumbing are actually in this wall. But originally the closets that were here were all removed to open everything up to make one big environment. The basement door, this door was here, but behind me, this archway was created to open up the whole environment into the living room with the television. So this wall was opened. The utilities are still in this box, and we incorporated it into the island, again, to try to give that big open look. As we start looking at the main kitchen, you'll see a lot of other features. For example, you can see these retractable pocket doors, and we can see the client has their coffee machine and other utility appliances here that these doors can go right in, and then these products can be used, and then they can be pulled out and they can go back to hiding so that the kitchen looks a lot neater, cleaner, more sleek. So you'll see some of the cabinet configuration. This right here is actually the dishwasher. You'll notice that it has a faux frame on it with the door and drawer head, which blends it in. The only thing that gives it away that we know it's a dishwasher is basically the larger handle, which can also be used to put a towel if need be. As we come over here, again, the client wanted a lot of light, a lot of windows. You can see the triple window, and we have this huge sink. If you can get an idea, if you zoom in on this. So we have this very large stainless steel sink with 2 faucets so that multiple users can use the sink at the same time. You'll also notice that we installed the receptacles horizontally so that they looked a little nicer with the look of the subway tile. And you'll also notice that we wrapped the tile all around the windows with the petite trim on the windows, again, also creating a specific look and effect. When we get into the corner here, we have one of our waste pails. This is a single 35 quart pail, which allows you to have a drawer on top. The 50 quart, you wouldn't have the room for the drawer. Now, as we look at the hearth area, you can see the open shelf concept, again with the tile going to the ceiling. And you can see that the left and right of the range matches, so there's symmetry there to try to accentuate and bring attention to the range. And you can also see the accessories left and right of the range, which your utensils are there, and then you have spices and other things that can be used while preparing a meal and using the range. This particular hood, the client wanted to keep it very simple. So basically we just did a simple box design, and then on the inside you can see the professional hood liner that is ducted to the outside. And of course, when the hood goes on, we're extracting a lot of air, so we need to get fresh air to come back in. This vent that you see here is our fresh air inlet. So when the hood gets turned on, the ductwork here remotely opens. There's a butterfly flap, and it allows fresh air to come in from the outside while we're extracting the air above the cooking surface so that we don't get any kind of a vacuum with the air and the elements that we're cooking with. Another element that you can see left and right, which is very common to an open, airy design, is the flying shelves. And you can see the nice contrasting color, which brings in some warmth and allows our clients to have some decorative items to make the kitchen look a lot warmer and nicer at the same time. If we scoot over here to the oven cabinet, you'll notice atop we have adjustable tray dividers for trays, cookie sheets, cutting boards, and things like that, whatever is necessary. And in this particular case, because it was a single oven, we had a little bit more height on top, so we made that a shelf also for miscellaneous storage. Then at the bottom of the oven, you'll notice that we have the 3 roll-out shelves, again for miscellaneous items that can be used. And the shelves, you can see the quality of the shelves, solid maple dovetail. You can see they're finished very nice, they're not roughly done. And of course the shelves, just like the drawers, all have the soft close mechanism. Our clients also wanted a very large and functional island in the kitchen. One of the main features, you can see how large the countertop is. Here you can see the built-up edge. We kind of have a little miniature waterfall with an eased edge, and you can see how thick this is because the edge is built up on the island. Compared to the kitchen itself, we have the standard 1.25 inch edge with the quartz products. So you can see the difference between the island and between the main kitchen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of the features of the island. First, you can see the sharp microwave. If I want to open it, I just press that. Here's all my controls, and that'll open the microwave, and the microwave can be used. You can also see a drawer for storage underneath, and you can also see that the microwave has been inset, again, to give that flush look. Here we have a regular standard cabinet with basically some regular shelves. They're very handy for bulkier odds and ends, bulkier appliances. That may not work well with the with rollouts. We have a 3-drawer base here, and then here you can see the Sub-Zero wine refrigerator. This looks like it's a combination of wine and beverage at the same time. We can also see for silverware and other utensils in this large drawer that we have a really nice tray divider system, silverware utensil system for odds and ends as well. So not only can you use a small one, but they do make larger ones to fit into larger drawers. One of the other features that you see here is a very large silverware / utensil tray. We've seen them quite a bit where they're smaller and it just enables the silverware to be stored, but this, because it's a larger drawer, does both. It has some bigger openings for miscellaneous items like the scissors and utensils, and then we can see the silverware is also included. On the end of the island, the client also wanted some additional pails for garbage and recycling and things like that. So we can see again 235 quarts, so it makes easy cleanup for the island and for recycling, in addition to the one that we saw to the right of the sink. On the back of the island, instead of just a plain finished panel, you can see some of the details. For example, you can see some of the dummy doors to give the same effect as the rest of the island. You'll notice the base molding, the shoe molding, the corner molding. These are all features to make the opposite side of the island, where the seating area is, very decorative and looks very pleasing to the eye instead of just a regular plain finished panel. We do have to electrify the island in case something needs to be used, whether it's an appliance, a cell phone, or any other type of electrical item. In this area of New York, the island does have to be electrified to plug things in. So we can see here again, instead of the receptacle on the side of the panel, that doesn't really look that attractive, we can see the black power strip that's on actually both sides of the island. So there's one here, it's tamper-proof for children in case they try to put a fork or anything in there. And we'll take a look at the other side of the island and you'll see the other one. On this side of the island, you can also see another plug strip so that it's handy for items that are necessary. And you can also see again all the decorative moldings and door panels and corner moldings that we finished off the end of the island so that it also looked very attractive. We can also see how large this countertop is. The front of the top can work for preparation and serving, while the back has plenty of room if any of your guests or family want to enjoy a meal or any snacks at the same time. You can see the pendant lights tie in very nicely with the theme above. And then we can also see in the column that we had to run the utilities, you can also see receptacles and switches as necessary. One of the other things we did to make this design work is, besides opening up that archway there so that the traffic for the island could easily pass through into the living area, this whole section here above me, this wall was built out and extended so that it would give some coverage to the oven cabinet so that the oven cabinet wasn't so obtrusive, and the archway and the beam were all reconstructed for this design. You'll also notice throughout the kitchen that we updated the lighting with the most current LED downlights. These particular fixtures are much closer to the drywall or the ceiling line than the traditional recessed downlights that the bulb is kind of sucked in a couple of inches, so the light doesn't spread as wide as it does with these. The other nice thing about these fixtures is they are adjustable as far as the light temperature is concerned, which kind of gives you the tone of the light. So we start with a little bit of a yellow tone with 2700, then you have an adjustment for 3000, 3500, 4000, and 5000. So those temperatures will make the lights whiter the higher you go. So these are a wafer design, and you can see we use them strategically throughout the kitchen. The other awesome thing that they're very low in watts. Normally you'd have a 65 to 100 watt bulb years ago with incandescent. With these you're looking at 12 to 16 watts depending on the setting. Something that we use a lot in kitchen design for pots and pans now. Years ago we would think about having two doors that open with the rollouts, and the problem is the rollouts would always bang against the doors, and it was always a two-step process to get to the pots and pans. When you look at the 3-drawer base, the top 2 drawers here, left and right, can be used for utensils such as soup spoons, ladles, spatulas, etc. And if you take a look here, again, we can see the deeper drawers can be used for the pots and pans, and it's very easy and convenient. You pull out the drawer, everything is accessible right there for your use. In a lot of our videos and the pictures in our gallery, you'll notice a lot of kitchens have a heavy molding application at the top. You'll see some type of a crown molding, a riser, maybe some other elements. In this particular kitchen, because it was transitional and we wanted to be more of a minimalist design, you'll notice that the moldings are much simpler at the top. You always need something to transition the top of the cabinet to the ceiling because it's never ever perfect. So this allows us to tighten up any gaps or any differences very nicely. And you can see the lines are very clean and very simple. So we'll take a look above the wall cabinet and the tall cabinets as well.